Hi everyone, it is a dark and stormy night here in Minnesota, just like an October night should be. It has been a very busy September, or it had been a very busy September. It was a big birthday month. It was my birthday, my husband's, my father-in-law's, and then with the state fair, and I had a couple trips in there, so I'll kind of walk you through some of that because there's stitching interwoven in some of those stories, so I'll kind of fill you in that. But at any rate, what I thought I'd do is finally show you those long lost finishes that I have been alluding to but wasn't able to show you because they were in transit to the location of getting finished or at the state fair. So at any rate, they are back in my possession, so I thought I would show them to you real quick. So one is the Dragons of Sumatra. Yes, Dragons of Sumatra. So this is it. This is my finished piece. I got it framed at Stitchville. I couldn't have cut it any closer to getting it to the state fair in time. I picked it up from Stitchville literally on the way home from the lake. My husband pulled the boat through the Stitchville parking lot and picked this up and basically went straight to the fair because drop-off was going to close in about 2 hours. So, like I said, couldn't have cut it any closer. But this is the dragon, and this is the frame we picked. There was other green frames we were looking at, but a green frame just seemed to overwhelm, like it was just way too much green. And then any green we picked just didn't seem quite right. You know, you couldn't exactly match it, and anything else seemed kind of off. So we went with this kind of goldish color, if you can kind of see some of the finer details of that. And I'm happy to say that it won a blue ribbon. Very proud of that. Still, the sweepstakes award eludes me. The sweepstakes winner, so in the Minnesota State Fairs, it's really hard to see what's in what category, what you competed against. So I'm kind of guessing as to what the piece was, and it was beautiful. I mean, it deserved it. So, but still disappointed that that sweepstakes win eludes me. But at any rate, here it is. And I think it turned out great. So that's that. The other project that I have, so this is actually for a retreat that I'm going to in the fall, and we're going to be doing some of us are going to be doing a stitching exchange, and one of the stitchers, hi Trisha, so she does finishing for me as well. However, if she got this, I didn't want her to get her own work, or like she had to finish it herself, so I outsourced it to the infamous Vanna. And so here it is. This is Autumn Song by Blackbird Designs. And so Vanna finished it with this great brown fabric all the way around, and then with this, and it's a little button as a centerpiece for that rosette. Isn't that cute? So yeah, and she stuffed it. So I like a lot of stuffing. I don't like a ton of cushion. Now, of course, this isn't gonna stay with me, but you know, anyway, I loved how much it's stuffed, but this is that. I think it turned out. All right, and I will also talk through, I also did, and I don't know what the name of it is anymore, and I just finished it this past weekend. Do you think I'd remember? No. But it's by Hands On Designs, and it comes in 3 pieces. Now, she just re-released this. I actually got this as a kit from Down Sunshine Lane, so it came with all the things, the tray, the spool, the corner gauge, all the things you need for finishing. So this is from Hands On Designs, and these are its various parts. I think it might be called I Dream of the Sea. But anyway, she just re-released this. So this is going to go on the bottom of the blue tray. And so these are all Smyrna's on the edging, and I don't know. I love doing them. Maybe that makes me weird. I don't know. This is going to be made into a pincushion. And I love how the shell, like the next piece of it, comes over to this side. So when it all comes together, that's what it's going to be. And then this goes on the spool. Now, she says that the spool is all different sizes, so you might have to add more to the borders here than depending on how big your spool is. I'm surprised that they differ by that much, so I'm going to have to put this next to it and see what happens. Or put this on it to make sure I have enough of these. And then this is the corner gauge holder. So I think there's backing fabric for this, and then you stick a corner gauge in there. For those of you who don't know what corner gauge is, I don't have an example, but it's usually a wooden piece, a square, that lets you basically measure from a corner to where it's 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. And they've come out with a whole bunch of different fancy ones now. So you can look those up. But at any rate, so in mid-September, I went to Charlotte, and it was the week of the hurricane. And thankfully I made it back. So in Minnesota, we do not know how to fight hurricanes. I brought my umbrella, not really knowing what to do. But I was able to make it back before it really developed. And so for those of you who are affected by Florence, I hope you're all dried out and things are picked up and kind of lives are put back again. So I know how devastating it was for some stitchers out there. So when I got back from that, I started classes. So the Needlework Guild of Minnesota had Betsy Morgan classes, 2 classes and specifically, and I apologize for that noise. My dog is drilling into the glass. Hang on just a second. If it's not the children, it's the dog. Where was I? Oh, classes for Betsy Morgan. So Betsy Morgan was going to come and teach us, and unfortunately her flight from Charleston was canceled because of the hurricane. And it was kind of interesting because when it was canceled, the weather was perfectly fine. So I don't know if it was premature or what exactly happened. But at any rate, some of the class members were very gracious in that if they took the class previous to us taking it with the guild, they taught the class. And so periodically we would call Betsy and answer or ask any questions that we had, but very grateful to those guild members who taught the class for us. So it was very nice. But it was over 4 days, so it was quite extensive. Enjoyed every minute of it. But this is the second class that we had there. It's called the Swan's Bower. So this is one of the classes. And this is the kit, and as you can see, I'm not very far, but look at that waxer, isn't that amazing? But I finished my twisted cord and my a few other things, and then we did some pre-stitching. And I showed these on a previous video, hadn't gotten very far. This swan was not fun to put in because the thread really matched the color of the fabric really well. So some of us backstitched it in a similar color to this duck, and others did not, but I did, and that's how it turned out. And then this is the other portion of that. So it's a thread keep. And so we're putting, I know, try not to gasp, but we're putting holes in the fabric. Hopefully you can see that. And then we're making them into what you see over here. So that's that. And then our first class, was called the Toy Chesty Tui. So it's, I'll just show you. It's a toy chest with a bunch of toys, miniature toys that go into the chest itself when you're done. And I'll pull out what I did and to show you what the kit looked like. That's what it looked like. The dog's at the glass again. Just gonna drive me crazy. Ruby. So I did get this done. Or well, I shouldn't say done, but almost. So this is the inside of that. This is what I finished. So I just have to put the top on there. That should be pretty quick. Yeah, pretty quick. So that's that. So that was that weekend. And then literally I went straight from class, which was on Sunday, back to the airport, and I went to Phoenix for work for a full week. It was very tiring. And of course I had to stop at the attic, and it was interesting. I went on Thursday and McKenna was there doing her video sale off of her Facebook page for the attic. And, you know, I was going to, you know, be creepy and go on the sale and say I'm standing right behind you. But that seemed, I don't know, maybe it's too creepy from someone you don't know. So, I mean, I was being polite. I didn't want to interrupt the sale and have people wait through an introduction or anything like that. But she will also be at the retreat that is coming up here in a couple weeks. So I figured, oh, I'll just meet her then. And of course I pinged her later and told her I was at the shop when she did that. And she said, oh, you should have interrupted me. And it's like, no, not going to do that. So at any rate, our meeting will have to wait, but I did see McKenna from afar at the shop. So we'll see her in a few weeks. But I did get some stuff from the attic, of course. So hang on. Got a lot going on at this table, so and a lot to show you. So Joan, Mama Joan, had just finished this pattern on her video with Kelly. I don't know, it was fairly recent. And I don't usually do Christmas holiday type stitching at all, winter stitching. But it was amazing how how this looked. And so I had to get this book, Home from the Holidays by Blackbird Designs, while I was at the attic. So I got this. I also, and this was more impulsive than anything, so I also got Jack's Bash by Plum Street. And I don't know why it's patterns like this and this is sideways, so I'll do it like this. There are parts of it I like and parts of it I don't, but there's more that I like than I don't, so I had to get it. I know, that doesn't sound right though, does it? I mean, I'm a Halloween freak, so yeah, I had to get it. And speaking of Halloween freak, so here's another one. This is Brenda Gervais and Tricks and Treats. So I got to pick this one up as well. And then I had this on order for a while. It's ISL 729. I'll do a close-up of the title because it's in German. I'm not going to murder the name, and I apologize about my dog. She's barking at her ball, so I might have to go grab that for her. But look at this sampler. Isn't that just amazing? I love how it goes vertical here. I thought that was just cool. And then, I mean, just the groupings, and there's a little piece here and a little piece here. I just kind of love that. And I even love the birds. So, isn't that great? So this might have to be started sooner rather than later, though I did say that I was going to try and move away from bigger projects so I can get through some of the smaller ones. So like for a mania, what I want to do is take a bunch of plum streets that I have and make it like a plum street mania. Just do plum streets, that's all. I would love to do that. All right, so that's that. So that was the trip to the attic and the trip to Phoenix. You know, it's funny when you travel for work, it's like you have to look for where the closest cross-stitch shop is. So I did that. I also picked up a few other things from a stash perspective. So this, I picked this up. This is a limited edition Val stuff. It's called Time for My Coffin Break. I just thought that was funny. So there's that. You may have seen that already. I also saw this, and so I'd seen it on Kyle's video and loved it, ordered it, and then when I went to the attic, they actually had a model there that one of the stitchers nearby stitched, and this is Hannah Sanderson 1849 sampler. And I loved how it's just crowded. Like, there's so much stuff going on in such a little space. And so they had at the attic this lighter version. So it came in 2 different versions. I think this is the original, and this was kind of the reproduction. And I think I might do the darker version. So I thought that was super cool. But I'm still gonna have to do the other sampler first that I showed you. And of course, being the project bag lady collector that I am, I got some more project bags. So I'll show you these. Again, these are from So Much to Love. They're on Etsy. This is for the cancer cure bag. My mom is a 2-time breast cancer survivor. And I just love the pattern of this bag. So look at just the bright pinks. She's got the matching heart. Yeah, what's not to love about this? So I got that. I also got this. Look at her. All attitude. Nothing but attitude in that face. So I got this bag. Look at that top design. So I'll kind of pull back. Just kind of wraps around in a bright pink heart for the pull. And then I thought this Alice in Wonderland bag was pretty sweet. So that's that for the project bags. And I do it, you know, of course she came out with her Halloween ones, so put in an order for those. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. It's just too much. So as far as whips are concerned, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, kind of what to gravitate to next. You know, the fall retreat's coming up. I haven't figured out what I'm going to take there. You know, I used to be a one project stitcher. Obviously, that totally went out the window. And I usually take a big project, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I've been contemplating bringing my rabbit. But I'll show you my latest project on that rabbit. Hang on. I had to frog some. So what's nice about the guild, when I went to the class, there was also another needle pointer there, and I knew she'd be there, and I wanted to kind of ask her opinion on a few things, and I'm glad I did, because, you know, she was kind enough to tell me, you're doing it wrong. And, you know, I was mad, not at the messenger, but just mad. You know, with 2 young kids, a full-time job, husband, dog owner, I don't get a chance to stitch, and what I do to pull them out later just breaks my heart. But, you know, it's all about the journey. So, I took her instruction, and I hope I did them right. So I'm not going to continue on certain parts of it until I've consulted her again. And actually, I'm going to see her in another class, another needlepoint class here coming up in October. So I'm going to bring this to show her and make sure I'm doing it right. So at any rate, this is the bunny again, you know, with the sweet little face. And so I finished these 2 sides. This was done already. I finished these two sides. I finished these. This was the part, it's the darning stitch, and I was been doing it wrong. And so I had a whole bunch of that done. I pulled that out and I've kind of started over. And so I'm hoping, like I said, to ask her opinion. You know, tested out a couple leaves to see how those went. I put in the grass down here, and I just love the texture that it gives. This is all done. You know, these are put in. I'm almost done putting in all of these, and then I'll fill this in with white thread here. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I've been having a hard time when I'm ready to sit down and stitch. I'm having a hard time saying I want to stitch on this. But once I get started on it, I want to keep going. So it's just got to start, right? And I really want to get this done because I have her boyfriend also in my stash, and then the designer is coming back next year with a cat. And I told myself I cannot have another one of these projects in my stash. I got to get one done and out before I can take that class. So that's the challenge. So yeah, we'll see how the stitching goes. I'm not sure. I'll have a ton of updates coming up. My husband is out of town for the next couple of weeks. He's got a couple fun trips going on, which, you know, is great for him to kind of just unwind and get out there. And so I'm full-time working single mom, at least for the interim. And then he's going to be going in for surgery here shortly. Nothing serious. Foot surgery and wrist surgery at the same time. So he'll be that guy in the hospital with, you know, like the one leg up and the other arm propped up, you know, both in casts. So one of those guys. You know, you can put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Or that's what I tell him. So he'll be doing that. So I'll be, you know, doing the working single mom thing, taking care of him, the kids, getting them to their stuff. So I don't see a lot of stitching coming my way. And there's the dog at the door. So with that, I wish you a lot of happy stitching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.